name is Lauren Bryn. I'm the Assistant Commissioner of the MIAA, and I'm very excited to be here today with Caleb Regan of Hope. Caleb, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a current junior nursing student here at Hope College, and I am the starting catcher on our baseball team.
Talk to me about some of your favorite things competing in this conference and maybe some of your favorite rivalries.
Yeah, for sure. The MIAA is a very competitive conference. The teams here, we stack up very well against each other, and it just creates an atmosphere of, a very high level of competitiveness. And it's been great. I've enjoyed being able to play against these other teams, and really drives us as a team to become the best that we can. Playing together hard. And Adrian would have to be probably our favorite rivalry. Obviously, we came up a little bit short last year in the conference tournament to Adrian. So we've been working really hard this year. I think consistency is the key on this one. We've just been putting the time in the weight room and on the field, and we're hoping to change that this coming year. So,
what drew you to Division III? What makes D3 special in your eyes?
So coming out of high school, obviously I knew I wanted to go to a strong academic college, and I also knew that nursing was a career path that I wanted to pursue pretty much right away. But I also had this love of baseball. So I was trying to find a school that would allow me to bring those two worlds together. And it's actually very difficult, especially for a nursing student, just because with our clinical schedule and our baseball schedule, they really collide. So there are very few schools who even entertain the ability or allow their students to entertain the possibility of going to play a sport and be a nursing student. So as I kind of started looking around to colleges, Hope was a very clear option for me, seeing that the support that we get as student athletes, we're students first and athletes second, and Hope really prioritizes that. And all of the faculty and staff and athletic staff here at Hope are all excellent at coming around and supporting us students and trying to make that possible.
You mentioned how clinicals in baseball can sometimes conflict. How do you manage your schedule with all of that going on?
Well, it's a lot. It really is. But what it comes down to is really just a lot of self-discipline, and knowing that right now, like, you would rather go out, hang out with some friends, but like you really have that paper to write, and it really comes down to you, because there's no one behind you, making sure that you're doing your work. And it just comes down to self-discipline and building those habits of getting your work done first, and then going out and being able to play baseball. And I know it is difficult, and sometimes it's not always fun. Sometimes you're going to bed at midnight, and you're waking up at 3:30 for practice, and then you go into like a long day of clinical. So it's not fun, but for the love of the game, it's definitely worth it. And coffee helps. I definitely recommend lots of coffee.
With the very little free time that you have, what hobbies do you have outside of all of this?
So, I grew up in a family that is very musical. So, all my siblings, play multiple instruments. As obviously, like, I kind of want the athletic route, but I play guitar, which is I picked that up, taught myself, and it's super fun. It's relaxing. When there are people around, a lot of my friends play instruments, and so like we'll play all the time together. It's just fun to hang out and play music. Outside of that, and not usually while I'm in school, but I like working on like vintage cars, old pickup trucks. So yeah, it's just kind of a hobby I picked up over COVID, and it's kind of taken itself, and I'm learning a lot, trying to teach myself as much as I can about the world of automotives. But yeah, I didn't really know that that was something that I'd found interesting until like I started just tinkering around on older vehicles, and I really found a love for it. So
Your coach did mention in his nomination of you that you did play guitar and sing. When did you first start playing guitar?
Actually, I just picked up guitar like going into my freshman year of college.
Okay.
So I've played cello since I was 10.
Hmm.
So the switch over to guitar was like relatively easy, just being both stringed instruments. Um, and yeah, that was just something that I wanted to get into. I started leading worship at my church, and I wanted to continue kind of developing other skills that would go along with that. And so guitar just really seemed like a normal progression for that. And I always wanted to learn, but I never really found a time. So I was like, well, going into college, why not? So
Have you ever performed anywhere?
so I have performed on campus once. We do, coffee house on Thursday nights. So I performed at coffee house my freshman year. And that was a ton of fun. I absolutely loved it. A lot of guys from the baseball team came out. We were playing the next day. So it was just kind of a fun time to get the guys together. But other than that, no. Obviously last year with COVID, not a lot of stuff was going on. And then this year, I've just been really caught up with clinicals and just trying to balance everything. So finding time to, practice a set and then perform it just hasn't really worked out. I would love to in the future, but so we'll see next year. Maybe I will.
So your coach also mentioned that you were a ballet dancer. How did you first get involved with dance?
Yeah, so this really goes back to kind of growing up, kind of like family influence. I've been involved in musical theater for a while, at least like in like elementary school and high school. And all my family and all of my sisters dance ballet currently. So and my brother went to musical theater school in New York, and so just like dance and like acting, like that's all kind of been a part of my family growing up. So it's just like, well, like why not? Everyone else is going, so like I might as well take classes while I'm there.
I've heard that some football players take ballet, to improve on the field. Do you see any skills translating from ballet onto the baseball field?
And definitely, I would say agility and flexibility are kind of like the two biggest that athletes go for, like sports athletes go for when they take ballet. Yeah, I think it definitely has had an impact on my game. Being a catcher, like being like down, like in a squat and like for so long, it can definitely put a lot of pressure on like your knees and hips. But being able, having that flexibility just kind of allows me to keep going with that, and hopefully decrease the stress that catching puts on your body.
I like closing out each interview with kind of a fun question. You said you were involved in musical theater, so kind of two questions for you. What is your favorite show that you have been in, and what is your favorite show to watch, or one that you want to see?
Okay. So my favorite show that I was in was probably Beauty and the Beast. I was Chip, the teacup. I was 10. Yeah, that was a really fun time. Favorite show that I've seen? That's a tough one. I think I would have to go with the first show that I ever saw on Broadway, which was Something Rotten, which is a playoff of like a Shakespeare. It's kind of like a Shakespearean comedy. So yeah.
I love it. Well, Caleb, thank you so much for speaking with me, and best of luck to you and your team the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate you having me on.